Any questions? Any other question? Doubt? Sorry?
Love of a mother.
Love of a mother is, oh, far from unconditional. Oh, so far it's like a mother's love is by and large, selfless, yes, I would say to a great degree selfless. But unconditional, no way. No way. There are so many conditions that mothers have. And rightly so, they are human. I mean, they are human. Your first condition, my child should love me back. Should respect me. Should say nice things to me. Should be polite to me. Should do what I say. Conditions, the whole list of them.
That is not met, but still you love them, right?
No. It does not mean that all your conditions are anyway met by any human being. But you have them in your mind. You want a return for the love you give. If I am loving my child, if I am sacrificing so much for my child, if I am doing so much, this is what I expect. How is that unconditional anyway? Selfless, yes, I agree. A lot of mothers have selfless love. Why? Because they place their children before themselves. So in a lot of things, they will see to their the children's interests as a priority to theirs. I agree to that, 100%. A mother will go hungry for 10 days and feed the child. A father won't, but a mother will. Yes, I agree, there is a lot of selflessness in that, but by no stretch of imagination is it unconditional.
How do you differentiate between compassion and love? Compassion means the word compassion.
Compassion is a derivative of love, because you can't really have compassion unless you have a certain amount of universal love. So as I said, as universal love develops in you, and it's not that these are completely isolated containers. I mean, yes, these overflow into each other. So as universal love develops in your heart, compassion becomes a very strong component of that. And you feel compassion towards, a large a part of humanity. Because now your love is becoming universal. But it doesn't mean that only when you finished with the other two aspects of love does it develop. No, it can be there prior to that also. So compassion is a derivative of universal love. Comes from that.
When you say that you need to take responsibility for
Mm.
romantic love,
Mm.
how do you understand that in simple words?
In simple words, be responsible for your actions. You can't put up your hands and say, oh, sorry, I didn't, well, I fell in love, I did all this, but I'm not going to clean up the mess. No, you can't do that. You create a mess, you better clean it up. Or don't create it. That's what I mean by being responsible. If you are going to have a relationship on a one-to-one basis, and it's going to be romantic, take all the responsibility for that. Simple. Or don't start it.
Please tell me that there's an example for negative karmas being accumulated by this interpersonal.
One example, I can quote you a million. When you are in a close interpersonal relationship with a person on a romantic level, the propensity to hurt is so much more. Because you are linked emotionally, because you feel strong emotions, it is so easy to hurt that other person. Get my point? So that is where your karmic slate can go completely haywire, and that is why we have so many problems between couples, husband or wife, even unmarried. why do people go through so much pain in that particular relationship? Because you're most vulnerable in that relationship. That is the one relationship where you can get hurt the easiest. Certain strong emotions are come up when you are in a romantic relationship. Very strong emotions. The stronger that relationship, the more likelihood of you getting hurt easily. Therefore, you can hurt your partner in innumerable ways, innumerable times, if you're not careful. So there the karmic slate gets, because you mostly do it intentionally. Well, you can do it unintentionally, but a lot of times you do it intentionally. Because the interaction is that much more intense. That is so.
You
So, yes.
explained it, this.
A part of it, part of it. Different places.
Supposedly, if the person hurts me and I don't want them to endure negative debt, so do they endure negative debt?
Whether you want to or not is immaterial. If you are hurt, the negative debt is incurred. So if you do not feel the pain, then no debt will be incurred. But if you feel the pain, debt is incurred, whether you want it or not. It's not on your wanting.
But in the relationship, you are in the relationship, still they will incur.
Yes, obviously, they will, 100%.
Guruji, when you say that divinity is only to give, but then divinity also expects us as human beings to follow the righteous behavior, to be spiritually evolving ourselves.
That's for
But
your
these
own
are-
benefit, not for divinity's benefit. For your own benefit, so that your negativity comes down, your misery comes down, your pain comes down. Divinity doesn't get anything out of that. Why would divinity get anything?
I'm part of divinity, right? So you said those
Correct.
7 layers of raising myself to the divinity. I have to keep on evolving myself.
For this benefit of your own soul. For the benefit of your own soul. You are not doing divinity a favor by doing that. You are doing yourself a favor.
Am I separate from divinity?
Yes, you are right now. Otherwise, you would not feel pain even for a single moment in your life. Have you experienced that?
No.
No. Then you are separate.
Because of my base level of thinking, that's what
Because of
separates me
everything. Because of everything. I mean, the very fact that you are an individual soul, evolving, going through various experiences, dealing with various emotions, thoughts, taking different experiences at different points in your timeline, you are separated. The moment you dissolve that separation, you are one with divinity. Then nothing affects you. Then all these questions would be irrelevant in any case. Then you won't be asking me this question. So yes, at the moment you are separated. You do feel that separatedness. Because if you felt one with divinity, you won't have a single moment of misery, sadness, anger, depression, or any of the negatives, even a moment in your life.
Well, that is because I'm so involved in my day-to-day existence. I'm warped in the bondages of life because of that, Guruji. You know,
So
believe me,
divinity is
because
not, na?
Divinity is not.
So then that is the difference.
No, but then how do you say that Aham Brahmasmi?
No. See, now these are all cliches. I am.
Yeah.
Aham Brahmasmi.
How do you say that?
Yeah. Those are said by whom?
Spiritual leaders.
Those who have achieved that. Have you achieved that? No. How can you say it? So till then you are separate.
Clean my layers and then absorb myself into the...
When you reach that point, when you reach that position, when you reach that stage of evolution, yes. Then you can say.
So in relationships, is karmic debt always negative?
No, why? It's positive also. You have positive karma. all the good life that you are having, all the benefits that you get in your destiny, they are a result of the good karma, and most of the time we are doing good karma also.
So when you say that you have to be responsible in romantic love and all, so it's easier to commit negative karma.
The potential to increase negative karma in a romantic relationship is very high because of the intense emotions that are felt and the proximity that you have to that person.
So is for the positive karma.
And so is for the positive karma. You can give a lot, of course, 100%. Of course, that goes without saying. Wherever there is a possibility of incurring negative karma, there is a possibility of incurring positive karma also. Of course there is. The happiness you give, the joy you give, the sheer sort of positive emotions that you make that person go through and feel, that is positive karma for you.
But it doesn't get equated in this life.
No. There is no cancelling positive and negative. Positive has to be enjoyed and the negative has to be suffered. You can't balance them off like your bank passbook and say net balance is so much. No, that doesn't happen.
If one person is hurting you, how others should react, not to incur the negative karma?
In which relationship? In romantic relationship. In romantic relationship.
If we don't want to get hurt, or we don't want to earn negative karma, then how we should react to the situation?
If that person is hurting you, if the person you love is hurting you,
Yeah.
well, if he or she is hurting you, then there are many ways to deal with it. I mean, depends on, more or less, then it would depend on what kind of hurt the person is. Like there's physical abuse, there's mental abuse, there's emotional abuse. It depends, and it depends for how long and with what intensity it is done. So it's really a case to case. There is no one standard formula for that. It depends. I mean, you can do a lot of things. There is energy healing. You can heal the relationship. Sometimes you can become positive and you don't realize, but it always takes two hands to clap. There are certain things that you are doing which is causing that relationship to go downhill, and we don't realize that because we never look at ourselves in the mirror. We always want to point fingers and say, oh, so and so is doing this to me. But you don't want to look in the mirror and say, what are you doing? How are you messing it up? So a lot of times if you correct that, you can change the relationship. And ultimately, if everything you do and doesn't work, then yes, you probably, it's your, I mean, you have to suffer through it. Now you choose, either you complete that relationship and come out, because if you come out prematurely, the next person you get involved with, again the same circumstances will be there, because the karma has to be completed. So it is better to complete the relationship. You must complete it. Then you must know how completion takes place. Or you can mend the relationship, and a lot of times, 80% of the time, if you just handle the relationship better, you can set it right. But for that, you have to look at yourself in the mirror very objectively and honestly. It always takes two hands to clap.
In romantic relationships, so suppose if you scold the person,
If you what?
if I scold the person,
Scold the person. Scold. Okay. Or you get angry with the person.
I angry with the
Okay.
person.
Yeah, I understand.
To make them introspect
Okay.
for the good.
Huh.
Is it good? Is it bad thing or good thing?
Well, if you want to play counselor and teacher to your romantic partner, yes, you can try it, but you'll probably have something flying in your face first. I'll tell you that. Partners don't make very good counselors. Frankly, be practical. But there are ways of doing it. You know, the very fact that you use the word scold is is not the right approach. There are ways to explain things. There are ways to make the person realize the differences that you have, or whatever may be the case. If you are smart enough, yes, you can use methods that are less abrasive and which will not create a rift between two people, between your partner. That would be fine. But if you want to play, strict headmaster come lover, that doesn't normally work. That would be quite a recipe for disaster. Don't you think so? So there are ways to do it. Yeah.
Guruji, it's generally very easy to start a romantic relationship, and people generally get into romantic relationships pretty fast. But when it comes to taking responsibility in that relationship, a lot of people raise their hands up and say that I would love to take, but I'm unable to take that responsibility. Now, is that a very
there is nothing like
way to
no, you see, that is you can't enforce a person to be responsible, and that is why I said that as a sadhak, as a spiritual practitioner, you have to assume that responsibility. You have to take that responsibility. Most people don't, and that is why I'm saying it. That is the reason why I'm explaining it, to draw attention to that fact that people don't take responsibility in such a relationship. And that is why there is a major mess up, and you also land up incurring a lot of negative karma. So if you are on the spiritual path and you have a romantic relationship, then yes, the first thing that you should do is take responsibility. Absolutely. But you can't enforce it on someone. You have to assume it for yourself. You become responsible. That's it. I mean, if your partner is not responsible, that's your bad luck. But you have to assume responsibility. Because your karmas are your karmas. That person's karmas are theirs. It's like that.
Coming from his, I think it was very innocent and
Very sweet.
question. I assume he's a husband or whatever. So it's not only the relationship of a lover, It does encompass the role of a husband, does encompass a lot more other roles also.
Sure.
So how do we distinguish that we're crossing the line and we're not, I'm not becoming a counselor, not policing around, it's a difficult thing because we do play different roles in different situations.
Yeah, sure you do. It's not a one-pointed relationship. In a romantic relationship, yeah, there are various aspects to it. I mean, the various roles that you do play. But end of the day, the love is different from what you have with other people. So, as long as that feeling, that special feeling of love or bond, which you only share with that particular person, if that is intact, the other things can be dealt with, in the sense that yes, sometimes you have to play the role of a counselor, you have to play different kind of give a helping hand, give a shoulder to cry on, be a support, a rock. Sometimes you may need a support. So that give and take is there in every relationship. But by and large, those are phases. The more important part is the man, woman, or now not necessarily man and woman, but the partner relationship. That special bonding of love that you feel. That has to be paramount in that relationship. Sure.